Joining me now from the Capitol Statuary Hall in Washington, D.C., representing Georgia's 11th Congressional District, Congressman Barry Loudermilk. Congressman, right out of the gate, we got an indication of where this thing is going, the 116th Congress. Congressman Brad Sherman, lunatic California, introduces articles of impeachment. It seems to me the biggest job for the minority party, your party, the Republican Party in the House of Representatives during the 116th Congress, is going to be to try and keep the majority party, the Democrats, on the constitutional rails.
Well, that is going to be a challenge because they've shown clearly, time and time again, that that really doesn't matter to them. It's merely a suggestion, especially in their quest for power. And that's what we've seen here. It's what we've seen with the radical rules that the Speaker has already proposed to change the House rules, which further empower her. I mean, goodness gracious, she's given herself sole authority to speak for Americans for the entire House in our lawsuit against Obamacare. And so the rules are also pulling the wool over Americans' eyes by automatically extending the debt limit based on whatever number that the Democrats decide our budget ought to be, without having to force us to take a vote to extend the debt limit. So, as well as getting rid of the 3/5 majority rule to actually vote for a tax increase. So you can see even through the rules that they're enacting is all about empowering themselves so they can empower bureaucracy, while we're going to continue to fight to empower the American people with freedom.
And this is scary when you talk about increasing the debt limit and no holds barred in terms of the debt, and revisiting unlimited tax in the American people. When we look at things like infrastructure down the road, probably from the 116th Congress, and we look at things like paid family leave, we all know in the end the American taxpayers pay for this kind of stuff. And I hope the Republicans stick together and stay on the constitutional rails on that one. And I hope that the Republicans stay on the constitutional rails and stick with the president in this fight that's going on right now in funding for the border and funding for the wall. It seems as though, to be honest with you, Congressman, though, we haven't heard a heck of a lot from the Republican leadership on this, a.k.a. McCarthy, your new leader.
Well, I can tell you that Kevin was in the meeting I had at the White House 2 weeks ago when we went over to meet with the president and tell him, look, hey, we want you to stand firm on this because this is a national security issue. We have to fund border security. We have to ensure that there is a wall. And Kevin was actually one of the leaders in that room saying, look, I believe we can get the votes. We'll have the votes to put the $5 billion in that CR, Mr. President. And so I think he is with us. There's a lot going on right now, but I can tell you the majority of my colleagues, including myself, we are dedicated to get this done because border security is a three-legged stool. It requires physical barriers, it requires technology, and it requires boots on the ground. They all work together. If you pull any one of those legs out, then it's ineffective. And that's what we're seeing right now because we do not have adequate border security as far as a barrier or a wall or an obstacle goes. Even what we have there now is inadequate. And so look, the Democrats have boxed themselves into a corner. I don't know how they're going to get out of it because they keep saying we're not going to spend one dime on border security as far as a barrier goes. They want to put more money into technology. Well, technology is fine, but what do you do with a drone when the weather is so bad you can't fly it? Or there's fog and it can't see through the fog to see what's going on the ground. That's why you have to have all three elements. And we're going to continue to fight for that. I think this is the right move to make, even with the government shutdown. But in reality, right now, as of just an hour ago with Nancy Pelosi Speaker, she owns this shutdown because she has the ability to actually cut a deal and provide some funding for this wall, which is a national security issue.
I think it's pretty clear that what we're going to see for the next 2 years, Congressman, is policies being issued by the Democrats in the House as a statement, as almost a campaign for 2020. Because in reality, most of the legislation, the radical legislation they're going to proffer should, I underline should, die in the United States Senate. So this is really kind of just campaign stuff. But you're on the Financial Services Committee, and it looks like the incoming chairwoman is going to be one Maxine Waters, who has come out and publicly said that she's going to go after people and institutions. She's going to weaponize the Financial Services Committee. What are you going to do to try and mitigate her attacks?
Well, the thing we're going to have to do is shoot back and try to obstruct as best as we can when they cross the line as far as the oversight and their investigations and what they do. We need to make sure that we stay focused on some things that are important. Look, we're leaving some business unfinished in the financial services arena. We had bipartisan legislation that left this body that had the support of the majority of both Democrats and Republicans that dealt with some of the most offensive aspects of Dodd-Frank. And it went over to the Senate, and it's died in the Senate. So there are some things we can do. We can resurrect those and bring them forward. But if they're going to spend all their time just doing investigations for whatever reason, we're going to have to try to bring that focus back to good policy. And that's going to be one of my objectives, as well as a lot of my colleagues, is, look, we need to focus on policies. We need to be doing things for the American people.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.